What if everything you thought you knew about Blake Lively's legal battle was completely wrong? Shocking revelations have just surfaced, and they might change the entire narrative around this high-profile case. Last week, Blake Lively claimed she had undeniable proof that the Wayfair parties only created a website to smear her name. According to her, the sole reason they filed a lawsuit was to publicly tarnish her reputation. She insisted that the lawsuit was nothing but a PR stunt, filed in bad faith, and that she had solid evidence to prove it. Her evidence? A Signal chat that supposedly exposed their true intentions. Blake argued that this chat proved the website was deliberately created to discredit her. But here's where things get interesting. Ms. Garop went public with this information, carefully redacting phone numbers and Signal user IDs to protect privacy. If Blake's claim was true, that this was retaliation, you'd expect the parties involved to fight tooth and nail to keep it sealed. Instead, what the unsealed chats actually reveal is quite different. They show that while Wayfair was amending their lawsuit, they simultaneously created a website. The plan wasn't to smear Blake, it was simply to host court documents for public viewing. Think about it. This is no different than when Blake herself gave her CRD complaint to the New York Times, who then posted it online like a lawsuit for everyone to see. And this is just the beginning of what the Signal chats reveal. But wait until you hear what one attorney called the Terminator, and why that nickname matters. Behind closed doors, the attorneys were plotting every move, and their private messages just got exposed. In the unsealed Signal chats, attorney Summer Benson remarked that the timing of their amended lawsuit filing perfectly matched the launch of the website. She wrote, "Defer to the group, but I understand it should go live." Attorney Brian Freriedman was also heavily involved. According to the chat logs, he and Jed Wallace, along with Rosa, were setting up the website. Their reasoning was simple. Since they were only posting official court documents, nothing could be considered defamatory. As Jason Sunshine put it, it's all cloaked in litigation privilege. This statement mirrors Blake's own defense, where she claimed her CRD complaint was also protected by litigation privilege. Even the lawsuit that was later dismissed fell under the same protection. At one point, Jamie Heath, a key figure in this saga, asked whether they were legally cleared to post the documents. Sunshine responded confidently, "These are filed documents. I don't see any risk whatsoever with posting them, but that authority lies above my pay grade." Jamie gave the final green light, emphasizing, "We are not monetizing this. It's simply a landing page to give the public access to legal documents that are already public. So, let's go live." Their entire goal was transparency, a simple hub for people to access filed court records. No hidden agenda, no smear campaign, just public access. But here's where it gets bizarre. They even gave Brian Freriedman a strange nickname in these chats, the Terminator. Why were they so obsessed with redacting names and fixing technical glitches? And what massive mistake almost derailed the entire launch? Just when they thought everything was ready to go live, a single glitch nearly blew up the entire plan. As the team prepared to launch the website, Jamie Heath noticed a massive problem. He wanted every single detail to be 100% accurate before the public saw it. In a frantic message, he said, "I'm sorry, guys. Everyone has been working hard on this, but we can't have a document that we're pointing the world to that isn't accurate. I'm looking at 3 devices right now, and it's inconsistent. If this can't be fixed, we're taking it down." The issue? The PDF file containing the court documents was so large that it caused blank pages and formatting errors. This made it look different from the actual court filings, which could have misled the public. The team was terrified of putting out incorrect information, so they nearly scrapped the entire launch. Accuracy wasn't just important, it was non-negotiable. Eventually, they fixed the glitch, but not before TMZ got wind of the story. Once TMZ reported on it, the traffic exploded. At one point, the site had 11,000 active users in just 30 minutes, with a staggering 820,000 downloads. The public demand was overwhelming. Jamie kept the website minimalistic on purpose. He didn't want flashy designs or extra pages, just the amended complaint and timeline so there would be no confusion. "Let's leave it as is," he said. "It's doing exactly what we need it to do." But behind the scenes, another mystery was brewing. The group began discussing a Reddit page called Balon Files, which they suspected might be connected to Blake Lively herself. Could Blake's own team be secretly running a Reddit campaign to sway public opinion? The next revelations are even more explosive. What if the very smear campaign Blake Lively accused others of was actually being run by her own team? As the Wayfair team celebrated their website launch, a new threat emerged, a mysterious Reddit page called Baldoni Files. In the Signal chats, someone hinted that Blake Lively's team might be behind it. The group discussed how Baldoni Files was actively fighting back against them, using social media to spread narratives about the lawsuit. The Baldoni Files people are trying to fight back. One message read, "Let them think they've won." Totally unhinged behavior. One participant even joked, "Who wants to tell her she's not even a party to the lawsuit?" This was more than just trolling. The Reddit activity seemed strategic, almost like a coordinated PR campaign. The irony? Blake had accused Wayfair of running a smear campaign, yet here was evidence suggesting her own side was doing the very same thing, just anonymously through Reddit. At the same time, the numbers were skyrocketing. Wayfair's website had so much organic traffic that they considered subtly showing the real-time download counts to highlight public interest. "It'll tell its own story," someone wrote. "We don't even need to push it." Meanwhile, live streams covering the case were thriving. There had been over 100 live streams, generating huge money for creators, and most of the public sentiment heavily favored Justin Baldoni. "Well done, family," one team member cheered. Blake Lively, however, spun the narrative differently. She claimed this was proof of a smear campaign, but in reality, Wayfair had only published a public court record for free access, much like Blake did when she gave her CRD complaint to the New York Times. But Blake wasn't done yet. She was about to drop a mysterious declaration involving a hidden witness whose identity could ignite even more controversy. A secret witness, a sealed document, and a fight to keep the truth buried forever. In a bold move, Blake Lively filed a declaration alongside her claims, aiming to strengthen her case. This declaration centered around allegations that Mr. Baldoni had verbally abused people, and it contained highly sensitive personal information. But here's the twist. Blake's legal team demanded absolute secrecy. They argued that the identity of the declarant, the person making the accusations, must remain hidden to protect their well-being and privacy. Their reasoning was clear. If the name got out, this individual could face press harassment, social media attacks, and potentially months of online scrutiny. The court has recognized the unique media-driven nature of this case. The filing read, "Public exposure could lead to a frenzy of attempts to unmask the declarant." Blake's team insisted that Exhibit 1, which contained the declarant's identifying details, stay sealed under the court's protective order. This way, the individual could provide testimony without fear of retaliation. But there's a strange contradiction here. The declaration had already received widespread media coverage. In other words, Blake's team was simultaneously fueling publicity while begging for secrecy. It almost felt like a PR stunt disguised as a legal move. The court now faced a delicate decision. Should the public's right to transparency outweigh this individual's privacy and safety? Or should the court allow the testimony to remain hidden indefinitely? And just when it seemed like things couldn't get messier, another lawsuit exploded onto the scene, one that could reveal shocking names and powerful players hiding in the shadows. What if this entire scandal was never really about Blake Lively, or even Justin Baldoni? While Blake's case was making headlines, another lawsuit was quietly brewing. Jones versus Baldoni versus Tag versus practically everyone involved. This case took a startling turn when Stephanie Jones demanded that key portions of a deposition be unsealed. Why? Because those depositions allegedly revealed who the mysterious website was really created for. And here's the bombshell. It wasn't for Justin Baldoni. It wasn't for Wayfair Studios. It wasn't for Jamie Heath. It was for someone completely different, a high-profile client whose name has never been made public. Stephanie wanted this information unsealed so her attorneys could finally tell her who was really behind the scenes. But both Wayfair's attorneys and Casillas' legal team fought back, arguing it must remain classified as attorneys' eyes only. Their reasoning? Revealing the client's identity could trigger wild speculation, harassment, and possibly even lawsuits against that person, who, so far, isn't being sued by anyone. Here's where it gets even juicier. Case, who wrote the actual website copy, admitted she was told what to write, but insisted every word was true, even drawing from her personal experiences working with Stephanie Jones. So, if Stephanie wants to win, she'll have to prove the website's content was false and defamatory. A nearly impossible uphill battle, since truth is a complete defense to defamation. And the list of potential players lurking behind the scenes is jaw-dropping. Stephanie Jones worked with huge names: Jeff Bezos, Lauren Sanchez, The Rock, Tom Brady. Any one of them, or someone at that level, could have been involved. But here's the kicker. While everyone was pointing fingers at Justin Baldoni, new evidence suggested he was almost completely hands-off during the entire ordeal. So, who was really pulling the strings? What if the man everyone's blaming wasn't even calling the shots? Throughout this entire scandal, Justin Baldoni has been painted as a central figure, the owner of Wayfair Studios, the supposed mastermind behind the website, and the man Blake Lively accused of orchestrating a smear campaign. But the newly unsealed documents tell a very different story. In the Signal chats, Justin's name barely appears. While his company, Wayfair Studios, was at the center of the legal firestorm, Jamie Heath, the CEO, was the one making the key decisions, from setting up the website to even hiring crisis management teams. Justin, on the other hand, seemed to play a background role, more of a figurehead than an active decision-maker. Despite being the founder and managing member of Wayfair Studios, he wasn't driving strategy or micromanaging. He wasn't even heavily involved in the critical conversations about how to handle the lawsuit publicly. This paints a completely different picture. Blake Lively's accusations hinged on Justin being the villain, but the evidence suggests he may have been hands-off the entire time, leaving the actual operations to Jamie and his team. This revelation could undermine Blake's entire argument. If Justin wasn't behind the website or the legal strategy, then who was truly responsible for the moves that set off this PR wildfire? Meanwhile, Blake's legal team isn't backing down. They've lined up attorneys ready to appeal, preparing for what could become a long, drawn-out legal war. The next phase of this battle is going to be even messier, more public, and more unpredictable than anything we've seen so far. As the fight escalates, one question looms large. Will the truth finally surface, or will powerful forces keep it buried forever? This entire saga has been a tangled web of secrets, power plays, and shocking twists. But the fight is far from over. Blake Lively came forward claiming she was the victim of a calculated smear campaign, accusing Justin Baldoni and Wayfair Studios of weaponizing a lawsuit and a website to destroy her reputation. But as the evidence unfolded, the narrative began to crumble. The unsealed Signal chats revealed a different reality. The website wasn't a smear campaign, it was nothing more than a hub for public court documents, just like Blake herself had done with the New York Times. The mysterious Reddit account, Balon Files, may have actually been orchestrated by Blake's own team, flipping the script on her entire argument. And perhaps most shocking of all, Justin Baldoni wasn't even actively involved, leaving CEO Jamie Heath as the true driver behind Wayfair's decisions. Meanwhile, Stephanie Jones's lawsuit has opened another explosive chapter, hinting at high-profile clients like Jeff Bezos, The Rock, and Tom Brady potentially lurking behind the curtain. These are big names with even bigger stakes, and their eventual exposure could shake the entertainment world to its core. As the legal battles continue, one thing is certain. This isn't just about Blake Lively anymore. It's about truth versus perception, PR versus justice, and who controls the narrative in a world where information spreads like wildfire. The next court decisions could expose the real mastermind, destroy reputations, and change careers forever. But will we ever truly know who was pulling the strings? Or will this case remain a mystery sealed behind legal walls? What do you think? Is Blake Lively the victim of a smear campaign, or is she playing the PR game herself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for updates as this shocking story continues to unfold. Don't miss the next headline. Like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell.